On May 5, 1977, the city of Houston, Texas, became the epicenter of a shocking case of police brutality that would leave a lasting impact on the community and the nation. The murder of José Campos Torres, a 23-year-old Vietnam War veteran, at the hands of Houston police officers, exposed deep-seated issues of racism and violence within the police force. This case not only ignited outrage and protests but also became a pivotal moment in the struggle for civil rights and police accountability. José Campos Torres, a Mexican-American, had returned home to Houston after serving in the Vietnam War. On the night of May 5, 1977, José was celebrating Cinco de Mayo with friends at a bar on Houston's East End. At some point during the evening, an altercation broke out, and the police were called. José was arrested for disorderly conduct by 6 Houston police officers: Terry W. Denson, Stephen Orlando, Joseph Yanish, and 3 others. Instead of taking José directly to jail, the officers drove him to The Hole, a secluded area along the banks of Buffalo Bayou that was known as a popular spot for police to beat suspects out of public view. There, the officers severely beat José, inflicting brutal injuries. Witnesses later testified that the officers took pleasure in the beating, laughing and mocking José as they struck him repeatedly. After the beating, the officers realized that José was seriously injured. They decided to take him to the city jail, but upon arrival, jail personnel refused to book José due to the severity of his injuries and advised the officers to take him to a hospital. Instead of seeking medical help, the officers returned to the bayou and continued to brutalize José. Eventually, they pushed him into the water, where he drowned. José's body was found floating in the bayou 2 days later on May 8, 1977, sparking outrage and disbelief among his family, friends, and the wider Houston community. The discovery of José Campos Torres' body ignited immediate anger within Houston's Mexican-American community, which had long been subjected to systemic discrimination and police violence. The brutality of the crime, coupled with the fact that it was committed by those sworn to protect and serve, led to widespread protests and demands for justice. Community leaders and civil rights organizations quickly mobilized, calling for the prosecution of the officers involved and for reforms within the Houston Police Department. The incident also drew national attention, highlighting the ongoing issues of police brutality and racism faced by minority communities across the United States. The pressure from the public and media coverage forced local authorities to take action. The 6 officers involved in the murder were charged, but the community's hopes for justice were soon dashed. The legal proceedings that followed were a profound disappointment to those seeking justice for José Campos Torres. In September 1977, 2 of the officers, Terry W. Denson and Stephen Orlando, were charged with murder. However, the charges were later reduced to misdemeanor assault. The other 4 officers involved were not charged with any crime. During the trial, it became evident that there was an attempt to downplay the severity of the crime. The defense argued that the officers had not intended to kill José and that his death was a tragic accident. Despite the overwhelming evidence of brutality, including witness testimony and the physical condition of José's body, the jury convicted Denson and Orlando of misdemeanor assault, sentencing them to a mere 1-year probation and a $1 fine each. The lenient sentences handed down to the officers sparked outrage across Houston and beyond. The verdict was seen as a blatant miscarriage of justice and a stark reminder of the systemic racism and lack of accountability within the criminal justice system. The message sent to the community was clear. The lives of minority citizens were valued less than those of others, and the police could act with impunity. The injustice of the trial and the light sentences given to the officers who killed José Campos Torres led to widespread protests and civil unrest in Houston. On May 7, 1978, exactly 1 year after José's body was found, the community organized the Moody Park Riot, a major protest in Houston's predominantly Mexican-American North Side neighborhood. The riot was a direct response to the perceived lack of justice for José Campos Torres and the broader issues of police brutality and systemic racism. What began as a peaceful gathering at Moody Park quickly escalated into violence, with clashes between protesters and police. The riot resulted in numerous injuries, arrests, and significant property damage, but it also sent a powerful message that the community would no longer remain silent in the face of injustice. In the years that followed, the case of José Campos Torres became a symbol of the broader civil rights struggles faced by Mexican Americans and other minority communities. His death inspired activism and advocacy for police reform and accountability, and it played a significant role in the development of the Chicano civil rights movement in Texas. Over the years, the memory of José Campos Torres has been honored through various memorials and events in Houston.